So, April 2017, and it's 9:15, and we're in the middle of electing a new government to the UK. Now, our wise old owl of Prime Minister, if you want to call her that, because I don't particularly want to call her that. She's a vindictive, genocidal egomaniac that doesn't give a monkey's for the working class, although she'll tell you that she does. She doesn't. She hasn't got a clue what it's like in the real world. She's doing nothing for the health service but taking money away from it and then telling it it's failing, and then telling you, the country, that she's putting more money into the health service than ever. You've got a blooming treasurer that's telling you that he's cut the deficit when he's doubled the deficit. We're now £1.7 billion in the red, and yet they've apparently been getting rid of the deficit. They're telling you that the opposition is no opposition at all, that he's some sort of a loon. But if that's the case, then why are they all jumping up and down and running around to try and beat him? It beggars belief that this country, you've got people that are saying how wonderful this person is, and yet you've got children queuing up at the food bank because their mums and dads can't feed them. And no, they're not benefit scroungers. Most of them are actually working for a living and being told that they're better off working, and then when they get the blooming job, they have any in-work benefit cut. So now they've just about got enough money to pay the rent, to keep a roof over their head, and not enough to feed the children. Mums and dads going hungry because they can't afford to feed their children. Where is this in any way, shape or form human? She says she's a Christian. I'm a Christian, and it's all right because God says it's good that I can take money off people and send them to a food bank. She's on £74.5 thousand a year and still claiming expenses for a frigging croissant and a coffee. If I was on 74 grand a year, I wouldn't want a couple of bob for a frigging croissant and a coffee. I'd pay for my own. It's just, well, if that's educated, then I'm glad I'm not educated, because to be honest with you, we're being told by people that are supposed to be more educated than we are that we've never had it so good. 2017, it feels like we're back in the Victorian age. It ain't going to be long before they start opening workhouses and make people actually scrub toilets again for a little bit of food. Yes, we have to be grateful that we have got a welfare state, but welfare isn't something that you willingly run to. Nobody chooses a life on benefits. Nobody chooses a life on a low-income job. It was only a few weeks ago that I was watching Rich House Poor House, where a young chap was actually working. He was getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to cycle to work, knowing that if he actually gave up that job and went on benefits, he would be better off. But no, his pride and his place as a father and a husband made it that he wanted to work for a living. He felt a pride in actually going out at 4 o'clock in the morning to earn money that he knew was less than he could actually get had he not got out of bed that morning. But yeah, he wants a work ethic that he can pass on to his children and say, this is what you get when you work for a living. This is how you feel when you work for a living. When you're actually bringing in money, you feel that you're supplying what your family need. And they struggled to spend the money that the rich family had said was what they spend in a week. Uh, and they actually said, you know, how the heck are we going to spend this money? What, you know, and the rich family were gobsmacked that they were looking at £150 rather than £1,500. You know, the the parameters between rich and poor are exorbitant. You know, and I'm one of them that's being told that I should be grateful for what I'm getting because I'm disabled and I've got osteoarthritis, I've got rheumatoid arthritis, two spine vertebra bursts have gone, so I've got no weight bearing in my spine much at all. My left eye is useless; it's about as much good as a chocolate fire guard. So you know, I'm virtually deaf. Um, Grateful to the NHS for the hearing aids I've got, so that I can actually hear. Grateful to the NHS for the glasses and the health help that I'm getting with my health as it is as it is. But this is only ours as long as we can keep hold of it. And at the moment, we've got a government that is selling off our health service piecemeal to an American style health service whereby you will have to have health insurance, and then once you've got health insurance you go to see your doctor and it's going to be a lottery as to whether or not you're actually going to be worth working on, because if you're not going to bring in the money that the surgeons and the hospitals want once we go over to this American system, then sorry, but you're not going to get treated. You're not money making, and your health and your life and your well-being should not be looked at as being a money making thing. You should be able to access health and help and medicine because you're ill. You shouldn't have to go and say to them, "Well, I'm worth 10 grand if you give me a packet of pills because I'm ill." If you're going to cost them money, you're not getting treated. If you're going to make them money, then yes, your health insurance will cover you. But why should it be that way? Why are we throwing away what we've got? We're throwing away a health service that is free at the point of access, no matter what your ills, no matter what your treatment is going to be. You're going to be treated as a human being by another human being who has taken a Hippocratic oath not to endanger your life. But if we go over to the American system, whereby you have to buy health insurance, then that Hippocratic oath becomes virtually null and void because the the doctor, despite the fact that he doesn't want to harm you, is going to be governed by the company that run that health service and that hospital, and they're going to say, unless we have a patient that is going to make us money, forget it. Just pat them on the back and say, sorry, got nothing for you. Bye bye. Go and find some other muppet. And that is not what we want. That is not the health service that I want. I want a health service that we've got now, a health service that looks after its sick, its elderly, its young, its poor. It looks after its patients, no matter their income. And to be honest, I can't see that anybody in a right-minded sense would see that a health service should be any other way. We have to, as human beings, as people, as a community, we have to come together and we have to look after our NHS, because if we don't, nobody else will. And I owe the National Health Service a whole lot. I owe the National Health Service one hell of a fight. And as long as I'm breathing, I'm going to fight for it. And I do hope that there are enough of us that are willing to fight for it. Anyway, I think I've bored you enough now, and I'd better get off.